Well, here we are with another Chit Chat and Charcha. It's been a while. This time with my dear friends Maanvi, Bornil Anurag, and Nidhi Binu. We are discussing love and relationships in, well, the present time, our follies, which there are loads. Yeah, so enjoy. So, the first question I want to ask is, have you found true love ever, or alternatively, have you ever been in love? I think I have, because I think I've had heartbreak, and that's the only way I can judge if I have fallen in love.
Yeah, I think I've been in love before, and then I'm kind of in love right now, so it's a very interesting perspective.
Do you think it's harder to fall in love right now, like at the stage that you are all at, or in the world that we're at? Is it harder to fall in love?
I think so.
Why?
Because I've always, for some reason now I'm noticing it's much harder for me to meet new people. And I don't know, online dating, I tried it. I tried it, but it is not something that I would encourage to a person who wants to date. If you want to have a hookup, it's easier to be on online dating.
I definitely think that it's much harder to find, whatever the conventions of love these days, because with lot more access to literature and media and stuff, people are becoming more self-aware of how not to put yourself through pain, through self-preservation. And so many times you see something and you may say, okay, I like it, but now you think, I don't want to go through that, because I've seen so many people coming around me go through heartbreak and stuff. Why would you want to put yourself through that, So there's always this instinct to think of yourself first before you see yourself in a relationship. Yeah.
So you're saying right now the instinct of self-preservation is much higher than you think it was
Earlier.
I think for me, I also want to add on to this thing about how it's harder to fall in love now, because our idea of compatibility has increased so much. For example, when we were in 5th grade, you would just see a cute girl and you'll be like, oh, I really like her, and you wouldn't think too much about it. But now you'd every time you're even thinking about dating, or even if you really like someone, you would question 10, 15 times, just do I want to date them? Do I see a possibility? Are we compatible? Do they like the same kind of things that we do? They share same interests, same views, same opinions?
It's like the Forrest Gump kind of scenario. He doesn't care about what that girl has as political opinions. He just knows that he loves her. Okay, and I feel like it's like that, being dumber helps you let go of all those things.
But the thing is, when you actually fall in love, it's the most contradictory thing to this, what we just talked about at all. Because once you are in love, it actually doesn't matter anymore. What they're to a certain extent, you become very dumb. As Maanvi said, to be in love is to be dumb.
Therefore, do you think that a relationship and being in love is the same thing?
No.
You can be in a relationship with someone you don't love also.
And can you... No, you're not admitting to anything. Don't worry.
No, I'm just saying it's from a very...
He loves someone, don't worry guys.
So in that sense, can you be in love with someone and then not want to be in a relationship with that person?
It's sometimes you're just best friends with somebody, and you somewhere you feel something about them, but you don't, and some deep inside you feel like you should just keep how you feel right in you, and so those are one of those things where you love somebody but don't want to be in a relationship with them because you're worried of, I don't know, the stuff that comes with being in a relationship.
What is that stuff? What makes it different from being in a relationship versus being in love? What parameters of a relationship don't carry over?
Yeah. So to answer your question, I think it's obligation what changes everything. In the sense, if you're friends first and then you start developing feelings, there's this thrill that you get in how unplanned everything is. But when you get into a relationship, because there's obligation, there is routine, there is pattern, somewhere, we crave something new and wanting to keep us thrilled all the time.
True.
And like some people are in love with their best friends, and that is what they're never in a relationship, but it is love, and it is that kind
But
of.
there are some people that get sick of the monotony, and that's when all the issues start. They weren't prepared to, they didn't realize what it all would imply being in a relationship with your best friend.
I've never been in a relationship, which has been so strange because now I realize like I don't know why it has been. It has never been like it's not been like I've not liked someone or anything, or that people have not liked me back. It's just it never sort of happened.
Materialized,
Like it was like the timing was just
Timing.
wrong. Like
Same.
timing has a lot to play in
Yeah.
it. A lot.
Timing's a bitch. Like for example, my relationship before this, which ran its course, like we dated for like 7 months, and then it ended. Like I can now, like looking back, like when you talked about this idea of obligation, I could actually see at what points I was being very genuinely like I say concerned, and like at what points it became obligatory. And like I agree that like that obligatory part is what caused the trouble, because when it's genuine, when you're actually caring, you know it at that point, like you're being genuine, like you know within yourself, like this is how I feel and this is what I need to do, and like it's not about, and no matter what other people say, like you're still gonna be true to yourself and like do whatever you want to do. But then when that whole obligatory aspect comes into play, it's interesting because like it's the same person, it's the same person, it's the same relationship, and like it's not like a lot of time has passed by. It's a matter of like what months, days, could be hours also. Like one, like in the morning you're probably feeling something, and in the evening you feel something else. But I feel like that's just like
No, I think it's
human
interesting. No. I think it's interesting that you say it's the same person. Physically, it's the same person, but people in relationships are very different from people who are your friends. Like your relationship partner will be very different from your best friend.
yeah.
That's why the obligation aspect. Like some people go crazy on you see some real crazy sides of people.
Yeah, like because all the insecurities are very on the surface at that point.
Yeah.
Because like you are like literally open, like
You're
you're
vulnerable.
sharing a lot with a person. But I can never say because I've never been in love. I really have no idea.
I don't know.
I think the day you start acting really stupid and you're just like, this is not me. What am I doing? That's when you know you're there.
Probably.
No, I think I know when I start sharing unnecessary details. Unnecessary.
Just to talk to
Just,
them.
yeah, no, it doesn't even like, it hits me ki, does it happen? I should tell him. Like, there's no reason.
No logic.
There's no
back to
logic.
that.
For me, in context to relationships, there's this thing which I like. I don't know. It's not like a coin term or like something that I've like defined as like a test, but like it's like this idea ki, like, do I see myself with this person in the future? Even like I'm not saying in the context ki, like, oh, do I see myself getting married, or like do I see myself dating them in like a year or so? But I'm talking about like just immediate future. Like, do I see myself a week from now, 2 weeks from now, a month from now? Because that's also really big like time span like with this person, and like if they check off that like that test, then it works.
Have any of you crossed a situation where you see the future but you don't see the present?
I actually was going to get to that. So, what's the most worrisome part for me in a relationship is when I have to get to a relationship is. So I've been in a lot of scenarios where this other person and me, we've confessed how we feel. We've told each other how we feel, but then there's this period of frustration where you don't know whether it's going to move into a relationship or not, and you're just left there on this ground. You're like, what do I do? Because you're expected to chill, and you're not supposed to be enforcing anything on the other person. You're waiting for the other person to also be as responsive. So if that frustration period, if I could eradicate that would be an ideal relationship for me.
I
The
swear.
same through it,
Like seriously, that's like a problem because like when both of you know that you like each other, but then who is going to make the first?
This is big elephant, and the elephant just keeps growing bigger in the room, dude. Like,
Yeah, and it becomes like this point that it becomes you kind of make it in your mind that this will be like the establishment of the relationship, that this is the ground that we work on. If he makes a move, then it's like, oh yeah, I was acting coy or something like that. And if I make the move, I seem very brazen or something like that.
It's an ego game.
It's an ego game. It becomes very difficult to like ascertain what to do in the next 24 hours of this. But I guess it's the right
dynamic talks is another worrying thing for me. Like, you know, when it comes to parents or like friends, you know that there are rules, and like there is how much you can love them, and you know it's not so daunting, and like somewhere your love is conditional there also at some level, you know. But when it comes to being like romantically involved with someone, there are no rules, and it's unconditional, you know. No, wait. It's conditional. So this is conditional.
Yeah,
and,
ulta, yeah. No, like even I was thinking about this because I was having a conversation with one of my friends that when someone's very close to me, the only kind of love I know how to express is unconditional, because I don't know how to do like halfway love. So as a result, when it's a family member, you're like their family, so therefore unconditional is obvious. When someone becomes very close to you as a friend, it's unconditional. But then when it comes into a romantic sphere, it's someone else who's coming into where your family used to sit, in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Because they are coming into the innermost inner circle, but there are no other attachments to you. So therefore, it's like an outsider coming in, and therefore it becomes conditional. But you want to be unconditional, but then you somehow hold back.
But what you said about family, that's very. It depends society to society, like, and where you place your family. For some people, family is not up front, like right on top. So that, but I think for people who consider like a partner to be in that same sphere, that's going to mess you up real bad, like because it's very 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 daunting.
Yeah, very daunting. Because actually, that's what in relationship you have the opportunity and you have the reason to walk out at any point. Family, you don't have that.
You're stuck.
You're stuck, kind of.
When you are interested in someone, do you
What is
feel
the first move?
obligated to make the first move?
Interesting. I mean, yeah, sort of. Like, it's kind of just like a thing where if I feel like if I don't make the first move, then like
No one will.
But then like a lot of times like I haven't made the first move.
Also, when you talk about going for something, do you think about the long term, or do you think कि अभी ये feeling हो रहा है, why don't we act upon it?
Yeah, but that I think depends from person to person. Like it would be like if someone like let's say like is like thinks a lot, like overthinks about everything and like has to go into the details before like acting or something. For them, they'll probably not like go for it without like thinking about like possibilities. For them, like then you'll have those like people who like do like cute romantic gestures, and then like that's how you ask someone out. They'll go on dates and like that kind of thing. But then there are people also who are like just very spontaneous. They don't know what's happening next, but like that like right now this feels right, so let's just do it.
I don't know. This is a generalizing thing. Don't tell you. And this is open to argument. But with most boys I've seen who are our age, it has to do a lot with age also. Whatever comes first, they're ready to go for it. Okay. And I was just seeing a stand-up by Amy Schumer yesterday, where there's a section on where people are like, "Oh, I've not found the love of my life, this and that," and she's like, "Don't you worry. You wait for them to get tired. That's where it starts." So. She says something along the lines of they young men in their mid-20s up till like 30s, they're everywhere, thinking at the foot at the top of the hat, and by the time they touch their 40s, they're tired. They're like, what to do now? That's when you say, come, and you and me are going to see TV for the rest of our lives. That's when.
Okay, Binu Reshwa just gave me this. Okay. Is the spread of a new brand of romanticism spelling a crisis of desire? Are we sacrificing romance at the altar of self-love? From epic breakups to the new digital dating glossary, the love which explores the end of love as we knew it.
This is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking about this. Like, is our new culture of hookup, and also of this promotion of very much self-love, making us really pull back from actually falling in love with someone.
Rather being intimate. And I mean emotional intimacy, not
Emotional
physical
intimacy. Yeah.
Is it also, I wonder if it's a gender thing. I really wonder, because right now I feel as though this idea of self-love and self-empowerment and everything is coming from a situation where we feel oppressed somewhere, and we haven't been able to, like, we've always been using the word like at the altar of love. We've always given ourselves to love, or given ourselves to the man, and the ulta, for whatever reason, we feel as though we haven't gotten. And as a result, we're like, no, we have to be self-loving, independent women, and only then will we fall in love and things like that.
Yeah,
I
because
wonder. I don't know if he feels that way, but
because I have seen over a bigger decade of time, I've heard a grandparent even turn around and say, in cities or like among Westerners, this is at least a good 10, 15 years ago, the divorce rates are so high, it's not a good culture to be part of. Like, look at us Indians, we don't divorce or whatever. And then over like a decade or so, there were a lot of rising divorce rates around here. But it's not that people are falling out of love. I think people are just becoming more aware of getting out. That this is a bad relationship. I should get out of it.
But the question I think that what we just read is raising is, are we being too vigilant in that sense? Are we being hyper vigilant? Because are we scared, as you had said previously, are we scared of this idea of self-preservation? Are we scared of losing ourselves in the process of falling in love or fixing a relationship that we feel as though is breaking? Like, what is the point that we decide that this relationship is not good for me?
More than anything, I think a lot of us, we are projecting from the stories we've heard.
Yeah.
Or this seems to be written by, it could be a voice of a person who's been through something and probably lost themselves in it, and which is why they feel they needed to write about this. I don't know.
So in a way, like as you said, like with our culture, like with the rise of hookups per se, isn't that kind of interesting? Because like hookups in general, like are a way of getting intimate without giving yourself completely to them. Because doesn't that actually help like us filter out what we like can call like, or like how we feel like is to be in love versus like just infatuation per se?
Do you think that there is the one? Is there a one?
They may or may not be, but somewhere telling myself, heck, going. It makes me go to sleep better at night.
There will be many ones. Like, there will be many people who can be the one. It's just like a matter of timing and luck that you find one of them.
See, that sounds so boring to me.
It's so frustrating. Like, kabhi hoga, mast ho gaya mujhe.
Listen, मुझे बहुत frustration हो चुका है. As I'm telling you, like there will be many ones. Like I remember my mom used to tell me that when they used to say the pledge of, they used to be like, all Indians are my brothers and sisters except one. Okay, because वो एक तो होना चाहिए. And there was this one girl in their school who used to say, all Indians are my brothers and sisters except 10. उसका blank face.
Last question. Not you. Are you open to being in a relationship right now? He's in a relationship. He can't answer the question.
क्या नंबर भी डालोगी नीचे?
But I don't feel single, ready to mingle.
Yes. But always ready to be in to date someone. But if it's going to be that thing, where you say to me, but I'm not ready. I've just come out from a long-term thing. Like fuck off, please. Dude, so many people have told me this. I find this kind of weirdest thing to say. I've just come out from a very long-term relationship and I don't want to involve myself into something. Then I'm like, why the fuck are you on a dating app? Don't be on it. Just hang out with your friends. Find yourself. Be somewhere else. Don't be on a dating
app. Go to the Himalayas. Do some soul searching.
Yeah, I'm like that is the and if
bring
that
some charm, come back.
If that is your thing to give as a like telling me like in a low way that I'm not interested in you. Don't do that. Just tell me that you're not interested. It's better than like beating around the bush.
Yeah,
Thank you for listening to our Chit Chat and Charcha. If you have any thoughts about any of the things that we have spoken about in this entire podcast, please do leave them in the comment section. Like, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe. Please, I'm like 20 away from 100. It would be lonely if I reached it. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening.